The pressure's on, man.
Yeah, I know.
Pressure now, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Hello, everybody, and we're here at the Facebook office in Mumbai, and I'm here with a man that needs very little introduction, or no introduction at all, Paul Levesque, aka Triple H. Welcome to India, Paul.
Thank you very much. It's wonderful to be here. I haven't been here, I think it's been about 12 years or so it's been a while, but it's wonderful to come back and see all the cultural changes. It's awesome.
So 12 years, what kept you away?
Just business and work, and we hadn't been here a lot, and the last time I came here was to wrestle. Unfortunately, I got injured right before I came, so I didn't actually wrestle. I just came here and was a part of the events, but it's been a while since I've been here, so it's nice to be back.
Great. So I have some questions for you.
Sure.
We're going to start with a rapid fire, so I want you to tell me the first thing that comes to your mind.
I just want to say I'm on limited sleep, so rapid fire questions might
fire.
not be my thing at this time.
It might not be as rapid as you're used to.
It might be a delay, as if you're talking to me from the
ring.
U.S. I like we're a delay for a second.
All right. So first one's easy. What is one fact that the world does not know about Triple H?
I mean that I just like to hang out with I have three daughters, three little girls. So when I'm off, I just like to hang out with my kids and my wife and just be a normal dad and do goofy dad things. They think I'm the king of the dad jokes.
You wear the high socks, soccer dad.
No, I don't like the high socks, but I try to be a fashionable, funny dad. But yeah, I do have a lot of dad jokes. My kids are always rolling their eyes like, oh, dad joke. And so
it's great. They keep you in check.
Yes, absolutely.
Who is your favorite competitor?
My favorite competitor of all time is probably Shawn Michaels. I know he's one of my best friends, but I just think he's one of the greatest performers of all time. If I had to pick somebody overall, it would be Ric Flair.
Wow. Yeah. Your least favorite competitor?
You know what's funny? I don't really have a least favorite competitor. Anybody that steps through the ropes, in my opinion, deserves respect.
And what was your toughest match ever?
Boy, toughest match ever. There's been a lot of them. You know, I've had a lot of battles with some classic guys over the years, whether that be The Undertaker or The Rock or Austin or Mick Foley. I had some really tough battles with Foley, but if I had to pick one, probably The Undertaker. He's just a legend, and getting in the ring with him in high-profile events, nobody's better.
Any one specific match you remember?
Hell in the Cell, WrestleMania with Shawn Michaels as a special guest referee. It's probably one of the most significant matches of my career, especially from a meaning standpoint. It was called the end of an era, and you know, there's a moment with the three of us standing on stage together after that match is over that was very real to us, and still very meaningful. I have that picture in my office, and I made a plaque with all three of us that has that picture and memorabilia from the match. It's very important and very meaningful to all three of us.
Yeah, and I think that's a moment that most WWE fans remember as
well.
Who's your closest friend in the WWE?
Shawn.
Shawn?
Yeah.
And the one question everybody in India wants to know, are you going to get back in the ring?
Yes, but you have to watch to see. Eventually I will get back in the ring. Somebody always calls me out.
All right, wrestling, done. Business, done. So what's next for Triple H?
You know, it's funny to say done because I don't feel like I'm done, especially when it comes to the business side. You know, I want to make WWE better and bigger than it's ever been before. I want to make WWE something that I grew up as a fan. When I meet fans all over the world, like here in India, you know, they talk about watching me as a kid. That was me. You know, I was the kid sitting in front of the TV watching at home and turned it into my life. I want to make sure that that's there for generations past. I want to, or beyond us. I want to make sure that that is the best product that it can be. As big as WWE is right now, I want it to be so much bigger in the future.
Fantastic. So you're here in India with the business team, spending time with key partners. So wanted to pivot a bit to the business side of
Sure.
the WWE. So when can we expect the next live event? And we're all really waiting excitingly.
WWE will be here live this December on the 8th and 9th, performing here in India. And tickets will be on sale any time now, so you should really look for that. There'll be an announcement shortly.
Great.
And a lot of the big stars will be here. Roman Reigns, Braun Strowman, Finn Balor. It's going to be epic.
Fantastic. So you've mentioned most of them. Can we expect any more superstars beside yourself to come down to India soon? Or?
So funny you should say that. Jinder Mahal will be here with the Singh brothers in just a few weeks' time. I think it's October 13th, 12th or 13th. He is here, and he'll be doing a tour here in India and meeting fans and doing some promotion.
So you've seen, we've seen how the WWE has been growing in India. What do you see the potential? What do you see here in the market and the potential for the WWE to grow?
I think the potential here is unlimited. I think that one of the strongest fan bases I've ever seen and most passionate fan bases I've ever seen is right here in India. And that really inspires, whenever I come here, it inspires me to want to deliver more to them. I think that the future here can be anything we want it to be. I would love to begin to come here and localize talent coming from India, localize a promotion here in India, and be able to share that with not only the Indian market but the world, and to do that, to be able to then cultivate talent through that market, through NXT, through Raw, through SmackDown, WrestleMania, and give the Indian fan base heroes that are culturally significant to them as well.
Yeah, definitely. I think all of us are waiting eagerly to see a homegrown talent.
Yeah, it's something that we've been working on for a long time. It just takes a lot to make people in the market in India realize that there is a pathway to actually get to the WWE is difficult, but there is a pathway now.
So you spoke about the event in December. Can we expect any more events in the future?
Absolutely. I think it's been a while since we came here, but I think India culturally has changed so much. The internet, everything that has happened here in the last few years and very recently has led it to being easier for us to be here in the market. It's led it to us being able to promote better, being able to do events better, and being able to come here and serve our fan base. So I think that December is kind of a tipping point where we will begin to be in the market a lot more often. I want to be here with Raw and SmackDown. I also want to bring NXT here. I really want to make a concerted effort, and everybody in the WWE does, on being here on the ground in India.
Great. And so, looking big, what do you think the next big thing is for WWE in the sport? We're always innovating, but what can we expect next?
Yeah, it's hard to say. I think one of the big things for me is the localization of talent. When we talk about India and being here on the ground and recruiting Indian people to the WWE, it's being able to watch their career cycle, being able to watch them get recruited, train for the WWE, start locally in the WWE, make their way to NXT, to Raw, to SmackDown, to WrestleMania if they get there. Seeing that whole career cycle for somebody, to me, that is what will captivate fans at a level that we've never seen before.
All right, so one quick question before I get into something that may be a bit controversial. What is your favorite Indian food dish? Now, you've been here a couple of times. What do you like to eat?
So I possibly could butcher this name, but chicken tikka?
Chicken tikka. You said
Did
it
I
right.
say it right?
You got it right.
That's not bad, right?
Very good.
Yeah, chicken tikka I like a lot. I enjoy the food here as long as it's not overly spicy. I have to tell you, the belly thing.
It happens.
Yeah, it happens. But I'm relatively used to it, and even though it's been a while since I've been here, but I enjoy it. I really enjoy the culture, and being here now in a non-athletic role. It's harder when you're here and you're trying to be an athlete, and like if you have the belly problems, it's tough to get in the ring. So you really are protective of that, because as an athlete, you need to be able to perform every night. Coming here in a business environment, it's allowed me to just enjoy the culture more and not really have to worry about the performance side of it, and just kind of sit here and just relax and be able to absorb that culture and enjoy it. This has been a really enjoyable trip for me.
Okay, and do you cook? Have you tried?
I have not cooked.
In life?
In life I can at home, but like if you asked me to cook chicken tikka, I wouldn't.
It might be worth getting into a class.
Yeah, it might be worth it. Yeah.
All right, great. So I'm going to give you a few words, and I want you to say the first word that comes to your mind when you hear this name.
Okay.
Shawn Michaels.
Friendship.
Brock Lesnar.
And this will sound cliche, but beast. He's an animal. Athletically, just an animal. I've never met anybody like him.
I think that would be everybody's reaction.
Yeah.
Stephanie.
Amazing person.
That's wonderful. The Undertaker.
Respect.
John Cena.
This will sound odd too, but hero. His work with Make-A-Wish and everything else, he really is a hero to so many.
India.
wonderfully diverse culture. I know that's not one word. You said one word,
It's
but
okay.
like, yeah, I can break the rules. I've done it my whole career.
And it's India. We can,
Yeah, I think
one word's not enough.
Yeah, wonderfully diverse culture. It's amazing to me just to see the differences every place you go here. You don't have to travel that far to see this significant difference in, you know, it really is, and we were joking about this earlier, but it really is like all these different countries in one place, and that it lends itself to having an amazing feel.
So one of the fan favorites for the WWE was the rise of D Generation X and the catchphrases that came with it.
Yeah.
So how did you come about those?
First, I should apologize to a lot of people about the trouble they got into as youth saying all our catchphrases. You know, it's funny, for Shawn and I, in the formation of D Generation X, it was really just Shawn and I being us. And I think what resonated with fans is it was two guys going out in the ring every single night and just having fun, entertaining people, doing what we do, you know, fighting the world on our terms, but doing it in a manner that just, it was just us, and it was real, it was authentic.
That's fantastic. I mean, I think it's interesting to say that that's just you being you.
Yeah.
Seeing you just
I don't know if that's true.
all the dad jokes.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
not
yeah.
sure they see the connect, but
Yeah.
it's great. Being
Yeah, I
authentic,
try not to use any of those jokes with my kids.
So when did you really come to know and understand the impact that the WWE has had across borders, and really understanding what kind of fan base you had here in India and other places in the world?
In 1996, when I came here for the first time, there was a moment in time for me where somebody told us they knew of somebody that had a gym that we could train at, and myself and Kevin Nash walked about a mile through a very small, not necessarily wealthy part of town to get there. And people were coming out of these little kind of shanties and huts and things that in my mind I would have never thought they would have had televisions or anything else. And this was 96. By the time we walked the mile, there was probably 500 people following us, all chanting our names. It was crazy. But by the time we came out of where we went to, there was probably 5,000 people outside waiting for us. It was the first time for me that I realized the absolute power in a place that I really, at that point in time, I was young, you know, I was in my early 20s. I had no knowledge of really in a deep level. For them to have that kind of connection to us, it really made me realize the global power. You add the internet now into that and everything else, all these years later, television, internet, the connectivity of all of that, it's really amazing. To see the engagement from the WWE Universe here in India and what it means to them, it's really humbling, really is.
Yeah, and now fans don't have to wait, or we don't have to wait until that lucky moment where we get to see you. We can be with you and with
at all
the other
time
stars all the time
on Facebook Live.
On
even.
Facebook Live. So a lot of us remember your rivalry with Dwayne Johnson,
Yes.
aka The Rock. Everybody has an AKA. So how has your relationship changed with him over the years?
See, it's always competitive with Rock and I. From the very start of our careers, always
That's
competitive.
what I wanted to hear.
Now it's even like he's used Dwayne Johnson. They call me Paul Levesque. It's all competitive. He grew a beard. I grew a beard. It's all competitive.
Matching hairdos.
Yeah. We're just. It's funny with he and I over the years. I think we've had this interesting rivalry at a time in our lives when we were really trying to establish ourselves and make something. It's what made WWE great. What still makes it great to this day is that competitive nature. We've come to a point where we appreciate that competitive nature, but still to this day, I see Rock post something at 4 a.m. on Instagram that he was working out, and I'm like, oh man, I can't take the day off today. I got to train too. Rock train, like, you know, it's still, I don't know.
Honest.
Yeah, I don't know what it is. We've laughed about it with each other, but there's still something about our relationship with each other. We get along great. Talk business, you know, and the things that he does and intersecting with WWE. You know, the one thing about Rock is he's in Hollywood, he's making movies, he's doing a million different things, but in his heart, he's still WWE. And if you're a fan of his, don't ever think differently, because I know how he is. And there is nothing. I watched him do it years ago, usually standing over me before he was about to drop the people's elbow on me, get goosebumps all over him. And I've seen him do it recently when he comes to an event and he gets goosebumps all over him. It's still that, nothing else in the world. He can make all the movies he wants. He can do all the other projects he wants, as can I. there is nothing in the world like standing in front of the WWE Universe and having that, whether it's 5,000 or 100,000, just going crazy, you know, and knowing you have those emotions in the palm of your hand and can control that. There's no feeling like that in the world, and I think that's just who he is, and we respect that in each other. But I think there's always still that, like, well, if Rock can do it, I can do it.
Well, I mean, nothing's made me happier of all the things we talked about today. I think the fact that you still have that rivalry inside your blood,
yeah, and
it makes us all hope and dream for the day we see you two again. I don't know what that would look like.
There was about 2 years ago, he and I did a backstage promo with each other where we talked about WrestleMania and the competitive nature of that, and it lit up the internet about the possibility of it. It's something we've discussed. It's just making schedules work. He's pretty busy. Me too. So it's making schedules work. But look, at right place, right time. I'll dance one more time with the great one, Rock.
So I'm going to take some questions from the fans. So we have a lot of questions from fans right now. I think the first one I'm going to take is, if there was a WWE championship, All-Star championship, who would you root for? Assuming you couldn't root for yourself. Let's make it a bit harder.
You know, it's funny because when you talk about the history of the business, it's so deep and so rich from years ago with Bruno Sammartino and Andre the Giant and, you know, Hulk Hogan and, you know, there's just so many guys. It would be hard. If you were to build an all-star team, a truly historic all-star team, it would be amazing, you know, just the amount of people that you could put in it. But, you know, I said it before, modern Rick Shawn would be my favorite, but if I had to choose an all-time favorite, it would be Ric Flair. So I'll root for Flair.
So there's a number of questions around Jinder Mahal,
yes,
and his ability to keep the championship. Can you talk a little bit about him as a wrestler and what you think his future is, and whether you think that he'll be keeping his belt?
You know, it's a funny thing in our business, good guys and bad guys, and how we portray that and want to put that out to the world. And I've seen criticism sometimes of people saying, well, yeah, but Jinder cheats or whatever. Well, you know, one of the things that they don't see, Jinder earned my respect in the fact that he was here, he was in the WWE, and it didn't work out the way he wanted it to, and it led to him being released from WWE. And he was gone. In that period of time while he was gone, you know, some people would take that as a failure and they would just kind of hang it up and move on. Jinder didn't. He doubled down. He worked even harder, transformed himself, got better at what he does, and became a much more polished performer until he earned the right to come back to WWE. So when people say, you know, Jinder came in and he got a shot at the championship and he won it and maybe he doesn't deserve it and all those things, I don't see it that way. I see Jinder as a guy that people don't see the 24-hour-a-day dedication that somebody like him put into coming back to the WWE and becoming something more than he was the first time. He's one of the guys that did that, and that earns my respect.
No, and I think it speaks a lot to the hard work that goes into being a champion.
People see what they see on TV a lot of times, but they don't see, and it's a shame that they don't, because the harder work, almost the 20, 30 minutes that they're in the ring sometimes is the least of what they do. It's everything else, the dedication and the hard work that goes along with it. And whenever anybody says, somebody was handed this or handed that, or I can tell you right now that everybody in the WWE works their butt off.
It looks like it.
Yeah.
So Kaushal Khatri is asking, will you ever grow your hair long again?
I could, you know, it's one of the things, like, you can look.
It's all there, I can see it.
It's
no
all,
spots.
there's no gaps in it. I choose this look because it's easier. When I fly to India, I don't have to worry about doing it in the morning. I get up, I take a shower, I wash my head, and I'm good, right? It's ease at this point. And there was a point in time where I realized, like, this long hair just takes a lot of work.
Yes.
Yeah.
We know.
You know, yeah, you know. It's a lot of work.
So Rahul Bajpai is asking, how are things shaping up for the next WrestleMania? Are there any marquee matches you can disclose?
There was nothing I would disclose at this time, but the one thing about WrestleMania is WrestleMania is always, it's a showcase of the immortals. It's the grandest stage of all time. You can say all the cliches you want about it, but every year it is our goal, whether we succeed at it or not is a different thing, but it is our goal to surpass what we've done in the past and to give you a show like you've never seen before. That will be the goal this year, and we will do everything in our power to ensure that when people go to WrestleMania, they leave there and it was worth, that the event was worthy of their passion.
So there's a lot of questions about Stephanie.
Yeah.
A lot of love for Stephanie. A lot of love for Stephanie here, and a lot of love for Stephanie
Please.
on Facebook Live.
Yes.
So Chintan Vasani is asking, any chance of getting her to Mumbai? Do you think she'll come to India?
I think she would actually probably love to. It's funny that I was in London before I came here, and she was in LA, and then as I left London, she landed in London, so she's in London.
Like a great recipe for success for marriage.
Exactly, yeah. Why our marriage worked so well, we had a dry run on television, right? We were married and divorced on TV, so it works real well now. We've got it out of our system. But she's in London. She would love to come here. I think culturally she would find this an amazing place, and I know that is something that she would like to do. She loves to travel and experience new cultures, and to be honest, I think we would both love to bring our kids here to have them experience the culture as well.
So just a couple more questions. So your signature finishing moves, the spinning spine buster and pedigree, did you give them the names?
No, well, the spine buster I just actually took from Arn Anderson because he was awesome and I love the move, and I like all great things, you borrow it from somebody and make it your own. And I sort of took that from Arn Anderson. The pedigree was something that I came up with, but the name actually came from Michael Hayes of the Freebirds when I started in WWE and was the Greenwich Blue Blood. I was doing that move, and they needed a name for it, and he thought it felt like handing somebody their pedigree, and that became the name. So Michael Hayes of the Freebirds, thank you very much.
So one question before we ask you to
butcher a phrase in Hindi.
To become part of Indian cinematic history.
Yes, okay.
Is kind of how do you define success for you? You've had a lot of different. Amit Sarkar has asked this question. So you've gone through a lot. So right now, how are you defining success for you? And throughout your career, how have you looked at success? Well,
at different ways, at different things in my life. For me, the biggest success I can have is being a great dad and husband and being there for my kids and being a great dad. That's the biggest success I can have in my life. Outside of that, to me, I'm very goal driven, but for me, it's whatever I find that I'm passionate about, right? And that to me is what makes your life worth living. If you find something that you're really passionate about, and WWE for me, I couldn't find anything that I'm more passionate about, I don't think. So, it's trying to do great things with that, and when you do something that you're that passionate about, it's almost like you don't work every day. You're just you get up in the morning and I can't wait to get going because I want to do this today, because I want to make this better, or I want to work on this project. It becomes a drive, and it becomes something you want to do, as opposed to, I gotta get up and go to work. So if I could give anybody advice out there, find what your passion is. Because when you find what your passion is, you will want to work on that passion every single day. That's success for me.
That's great. Success for life, success for WWE,
yeah.
Success for family.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So before we go, we're just about to wrap up. We wanted to have you share in one of what is Indian cinema's most famous dialogues.
Yeah. So this is a dialogue by one of the most iconic actors.
But then I've got to hold on a second. Why do I have to try to say this?
Because it suits you perfectly.
But she's interviewing me, and she's not going to try to say it to teach me how to say it.
Thank you.
Yes.
Considering both of you don't know Hindi, or both have to say this dialogue.
All right.
Okay. Know Hindi is better. So the dialogue is by one of the most iconic actors, and so I'll make you say it and then I'll tell you the meaning. So it is Rishte mein to hum, Rishte mein to hum, तुम्हारे बाप लगते हैं, तुम्हारे बाप लगते हैं, नाम है Triple H. Oh. This suits you perfectly. If I had to give you a Bollywood dialogue, it would be this.
Okay. Don't ask me to say that all at once, though.
That's fine.
You did a fantastic job.
Okay, was not bad? All right, yeah. I'll take that.
So before we sign off, any parting words for your fans in India and Mumbai and looking ahead to the December event?
Well, I think that first I'd like to say thank you for the hospitality being here. It's been a wonderful trip. I've had the wonderful opportunity to meet a lot of great Indian fans, WWE Universe fans from here in India, and be able to say hello to them and take pictures with them and have a great time. If you're a WWE fan here, I'd love to be able to tell you to watch closely, because this is going to become more interesting really fast for you. As we begin to do more and more things here, I think it's going to be even more and more engaging for you. So thank you for the hospitality, and stay tuned, because WWE is going to take you places you've never been before.
Sounds great. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. Thank you for the time.